Alright YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and today we're going to be showcasing Eve from the Celebrate collab. I am on Scope Lock, obviously. I'm on my free-to-play account because my free-to-play account has Masked and Anchor, and obviously I do think this character is going to be very broken with, Masked, because Masked has a permanent crit rate for all allies when she's in a drunken status, and the whole point of Masked and Anchor is that if you run both of these characters together, Masked is permanently in the drunken status, so you're permanently going to have that crit rate buff. So having a 60% permanent crit rate buff when you enter the battle from Eve on top of the 20% from Masked is 80%, right? And if I was to bring someone like Helm, when the last bullet hits, you actually are going to get an additional, I think 20%. I don't have the favorite item one, but it will be like, I think at level 10 it's 20% or close to 20%, so you'll basically have 100% when she lands the last bullet. And then obviously I'm just running Little Mermaid for the hell of it. I don't have what's her name, I don't have volume on this account, I don't have litter on this account. I have Miranda, who I guess technically I can use her because she gives a crit damage buff, no crit rate buff, but a crit damage buff and stuff like that, which, you know what, why not? Because I don't actually want to use Little Mermaid where she's actually increasing the, what's it called, she's increasing she's not increasing ammo capacity, but she has the reloads magazine stuff, right? But this character right here is crazy. Essentially, she's going to deal 240% of final attack as damage, attack sequentially for 3 times, which is quite crazy. Every time she lands 44 critical hits. So having this character crit is kind of essential, right? We're going in with Scope Lock, we're going against a boss. There's more to this character, but I'll explain it throughout the video. But yeah, I just really want to see what this character is going to do, how she's going to perform and all that stuff. Remember, we're going to have a lot of crit rate here. By the time we use her burst skill, she probably will be fully stacked up on crit rate. Not to mention, even if you're not fully stacked up, 80% crit rate is quite crazy, right? 80% like out of 100% crit rate is quite crazy, right? She's going to crit more than you guys know. She is an AR. If she was a machine gun, she would be like, this is like a pilgrim level character, just off paper. This is a pilgrim level character, right? Look at all those crits we've gotten off so far, right? So if she lands 44 crits, she will go crazy. So right now she's at 5 million and all that good stuff. So if you don't know what her burst skill gives her, we're at 5.4 million. Her burst skill actually doubles, it multiplies her skill 1 and skill 2 by 2, right? And her skill 2 actually gives her quite the effect. It gives her an attack buff of 50% of the caster's attack continuously, and then the ammo capacity is increased by 25% continuously, and her burst skill basically multiplies that and makes it by 2, right? And then she reloads 3 bullets if she lands 10 normal attacks on electric code enemies. So there's that to note. And then obviously her burst skill, like I said, it's just doubling all this stuff right here. So this is now 100% of the caster's attack continuously, and this is 50% ammo capacity continuously, right? That's basically what her burst skill does. It makes her second skills buff quite crazy, right? And then obviously this skill right here, the unstable energy, will also be double the damage now. So that should be 480%, right? Not to mention, if she lands this, damage taken is increased on the enemy. So now that we enter the burst skill, Eve should be crazy. 5.4 million to what, right? If you guys take a look, this is quite crazy, right? So I'm assuming when, excuse me, okay, you guys can kind of see she's quite powerful, right? From 5.4 million to 89 million, and mind you, this is scope lock and stuff like that, so it's quite crazy. But when you see that wind attack happening, that's when, so I don't know if it's gonna, where is it gonna proc? Let's take a look. It's like a wind effect. You will see it and you will know it's proc, right? I don't know if it's that wind electric thing. Let me see. 40, oh, so I guess it's that little lightning effect. That lightning effect that goes around and around, that should be it right there, because there's no way it should be anything else right there. Hold on. Anyways, like I was saying, right? So I think it's that electric thing, but that looks like it's going on quite consistently. But like I said, the drunken stat is on permanently. This character, okay, so that's just her burst skill. That wind thing is just from her burst skill. But the actual electric thing around the boss is what the skill 1 is, right? Now, is this character crazy? Yeah, because she's already at 250 normal, or 250 something million, 1 minute in, and this is no overload gear. This is just core 7, 10, 10, 10, which core 7, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's great and all, but like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't make a difference, but it's not needed whatsoever. Like, you could see your Eve perform basically the same thing with no gears, right? 10, 10, 10 is kind of like easy for people to get, and stuff like that, especially with all the like quality of life updates you get added for the character. And then overload gear is what would really make this character shine, right? Not to mention, I think a better team, like if I was to put Litter on this team, or if I was to put you know, anybody else, crit in this game is not as crazy as you might think, right? Like if I was to put Crown on this team, or somebody else on this team, or for a burst one realistically, but crit damage buffs, I know she crits a lot, so you might be like, oh, crit damage buffers. No, I explained this with K, and it's the same thing with you. Crit in this game is not that big, right? You're probably better off using attack or attack damage buffers for your burst one, realistically, right? I'm just keeping it honest with you guys. Crit damage buffs are okay, but is her damage good? Her damage is really good. Is this Pilgrim level? I would say she is Pilgrim level in terms of the DPS you do it, right? Because Mihara is a Pilgrim level character technically, right? And Mihara, I would say, is worse than Eve, right? In terms of just general damage. Now, Eve is quite useless anywhere else besides electrical enemies, because her whole thing really does proc with electrical enemies. But if I also hop on my main account with all the more options I have, I'm just doing this for the first ever initial showcase. But if I was to hop on my main account and use this character with, you know, all the other options I have, you guys would see her perform a lot better, right? Not to mention when I do the full overload gear, you're probably gonna be like, okay, yeah, Eve is a must-have. And I think this is what we should be summoning for, right? I mean, everybody and their mothers for a whole year now have been saying, oh, we're summoning for Eve, we're summoning for Eve, right? Like, don't get me wrong, this is good damage. The other burst 2 character we have is the non-favorite item Helm. So if I had another burst 2 character on this team that was actually meant to do damage, like Scarlet or Cinderella or whoever else, this would easily be like a crazy run, right? Maybe Scarlet Black Shadow, because, you know, Mask and Anchor are very good for Scarlet Black Shadow. So that's probably what I would run realistically. But let's take a look at Eve's final number. The constant crit from her is crazy. This is what K should have done, right? But they didn't want to give it to K, they gave it to Eve. And as you guys take a look at Eve, I would say 770 million no overload gear is quite crazy. Genuinely. Like, I don't think, because like, look, I'm gonna go in the same team. I'm gonna remove Helm. I'm gonna move you. I'm gonna put you in, whether you like it or not. I'm gonna put you in, and I'm gonna put you in. Right? I'm just gonna do that. All right, so I just looked at something, and guess what? Your boy has been fighting a type stage. So she hit 717 million, not even being type advantage. I don't think people realize how cracked Eve is. She hit 717 million, not even being type advantage. What are we talking about right now? That means we never got this damage taken increase. We never got the 3-round increase, or, you know, I guess that's realistically it. We never got any of those, but those two things are things that will help this character even more, right? Because I went to this where it says weak point electric. No, I need to be here. So we're going to use her now, right? I'm gonna run, you know, a proper team, right? More of a, like, you know, realistic team. I feel like, you know, this is more realistic team, right? And we're gonna see what this is looking like right here. I can even run you, because you're a crazy DPS. Why not? And let me do that. I'm gonna run Red Hood instead, just because Red Hood, you know, Red Hood is Red Hood, crazy DPS. So yeah, but this is where type advantage here. So let's see how much we're going to hit now. If we got 717 million non-type advantage, what are we going to get type advantage? Mind you, this is no overload gear. Like, this character is Pilgrim level, and that means she's a must-have, because this is what we want, Pilgrims. Like, this character is a must-have. She's going to be I didn't even look. We're at 31 million. Type advantage. Remember, every 3 or every 10 normal attacks, she gets 3 bullets back and stuff like that. 77 mil, right? Obviously we don't have Helm on this team, which that's more crit rate. Obviously we don't have Miranda on this team, which is crit damage. But I wouldn't say Little Mermaid is like the craziest general team buffer, right? But obviously her and Red Hood do a lot of damage. right? I should have probably put the same team I had on before with Miranda, right? Like I could. Yeah. I don't need Little Mermaid on this team. Let me put Miranda back there. I don't need Little Mermaid on this team, and I don't have Litter, so I'm just gonna put Miranda back in there, because Miranda's gonna be good there, and then I guess I can have you on the team. Like
Red Hood, engage.
Do I go back with Helm? I'm gonna go back with Helm. I'm gonna run the original team just now where she's type advantage, because I made a mistake there. I didn't go into that stage to see how she performs non-type advantage. I just made a mistake, and it was a mistake that gave me a W, because 717 million not type advantage is quite insane, right? You guys will see a lot more videos with this character in different teams tomorrow, but for their first impressions video, I will say this character is crazy. So let's take a look and see now, right? We're at 700 or 7.3 million, and we go from 7.3 million to a whopping what? 7.3 million to 112 million. This is a 105 million jump off the burst skill. And mind you, her burst skill makes all her skill 1, skill 2 multiply, not multiply by 2, but it doubles it. So when you're in her burst skill, she's very, very cracked. When you're not in her burst skill, she is still very powerful. Like, she's just not as crazy as if she was in her burst skill. But yeah, I think this character with Mask and Anchor is good. I haven't even tried her out with Crown. I haven't even tried it with the Monstrous Trio team. Expect that video tomorrow or something. But this character is going to be like a must-have. And it just makes me excited for Raven, because I thought Raven was going to be very, very bad. And she seems to be very good. She's definitely limited. I would say Raven is quite limited, but she's definitely very good. 300 million? Oh my god. This character Eve is, they couldn't have treated Eve like she was a bad character. You know what I mean? Like, Eve is part of Shift Up. Eve is Nikke, technically. Like, this is not a regular collab. This is Shift Up's own game. Like, their own games coming together. So, hey, I think the crit, that's non-stop crit right there. That's non-stop crit. You don't see no white text. Let's take a look. 350 million. And we're about to use her burst skill, yeah? Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going from 357 million guaranteed crit to what? 350 to 4,676. Very powerful character, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. She's very fast. Very, very strong. She probably will get to close to $1 billion, if not $1 billion, with this team. Now, obviously, if this is a team I would run, hell no. Like, I wouldn't run random Mask, Anchor, and Helm. This is realistically, this team right here is to specifically show off what Eve is able to do. All the other videos you guys get from me is going to show Eve on more realistic team comps. And even against Ultra as well. I expect that video tomorrow. But I haven't even summoned yet. I just went into scope block because I didn't even care to summon. But am I going to summon for this character? Yeah, expect the summoning video. I'm going to summon for this character on my main account, or on my free-to-play account. Obviously, I'm going to get her on my main account, her and Raven on my main account. They're collab characters. That's good. Right? I'm just a bit worried because we have another collab, which is near rerun, and they're probably gonna have new near characters, and the collab characters lately have just been on top of it. So we got 30 more seconds here. She is probably going to hit close to 900 million, if not 900 million, maybe $1 billion if we get her burst skill off right now. Right? Our burst generation is atrocious though. Let's go to you. Who's using their burst skill? Okay, good. She's her burst skill off, so she's probably going to get to 900 million damage right there. Insane reload speed, obviously, with Mask and Anchor, that's kind of a given. And let's take a look what her final number is going to be. So, not type advantage and no overload gear, 770 million. Type advantage, no overload gear, 885 million. Is Eve cracked? Yes, the hell she is. So, hey, I'm liking it so far. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comments. And again, expect videos tomorrow. More of this character with different team comps. Expect a summoning video one of these days. But it's your boy Zxous, and I'm out. Peace. Subscribe and like. Bye.